Okay, so today I have an interesting video of the question a lot of people have, and they always ask you to check the radio, check the cigarette lighter not working, and so today's video is about how to use a test light to solve that problem. You can be on a trip, or you can be go in the supermarket or somewhere and you get stuck, car don't start, or you could check your own light, or you can replace the fuse yourself. Okay, so what we're gonna have is this is the fuse box here. Okay, this is the fuse box. You have inside the car, and you have this one is the engine compartment. If you check your manual on your car manual, you're gonna know the location of your fuse box, interior and exterior. Okay, so the basic tool you're gonna need is a test light and a multimeter. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use it and what you're checking for. Okay, so if you're good with diagram, you can look on the cover of the fuse box, and you can see whatever fuse you're looking for, and then if you look at it, you put it in the right way, you know which fuse that the one you're looking for, and so they go over all the fuse, you can go to the specific fuse right away. But in that case, if you don't know how to set the diagram here and to see it on the fuse box, so I suggest you check them all, right, until you find the one that is broken. So how are you going to do that? So the first thing you need to do is to put your test light to the negative side of the battery, which is going to say a minus sign. Okay, or the easiest way that I identify the positive and the negative is the positive terminal on top is always bigger than the negative, so that's where you can know which is positive, negative right off. If the place is dark or whatever, you can see properly. You can identify that, or you can identify it with the negative sign and the plus sign. So plus means positive, negative means is the negative sign. Okay, so that's what it means. Okay, so now we're gonna be checking for the fuse that is born, or the fuse that giving the problem. Okay, so how are we gonna do that? We're gonna make sure before you get any further in this test, you have to turn on your ignition key, make sure all the light in the dash is light. So what happened is gonna activate a lot of the fuse gonna be activated. All right, is gonna send power from them to the ignition, gonna send power to the fuse. Some fuse mightn't light up, right? So because that fuse you need to put on a headlight or something so the relay can send power, or you get a signal from a next relay to activate that fuse. So you might not have no power in that. So don't think that the fuse is born, which I'm going to explain further down in this test. Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn on the ignition. Okay, ignition is on. So now I'm going to take it's already on the negative, I'm going to touch it on the positive, make sure that my ground is good. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be going over each fuse at the tip of the fuse. At the tip of the fuse here, you have the point. You can put your test light in this hole here. All right. So how the fuse, let's find out what the fuse does. The fuse protect your car from burning or from damaging the wire harness, or damaging anything that has been protected, or anything that is, that you plug a socket on, or you plug your phone, or you plug your radio, something like that. So it's going to be protecting the device, because what happened when the fuse is good, the both of these tips are connected on the inside. So it's make one connection. The power come here and it go out from here, one end, right? So when the fuse is broke, there is no connection between these two pins. So you're going to have power, and the next one would not send any power to the component that is needed for the power. So you wouldn't get power to a radio, cigarette lighter, to your light or whatever component that is controlled, okay? Because each fuse here controls some electrical part in your car. It can be the light, it can be the brake light, it can be your horn, it can be so many things, alright? Because everything run off a fuse and a relay, alright? So what happened, we're gonna be checking the light to see which light or which fuse is born for any component. So we're gonna take the test light, you're gonna put it on one side of the fuse, you put it on the other side of the fuse. Okay, so these two fuse, you have a spare fuse just in case you have one born, you can replace it. So you wouldn't have no light on these here, right? Then you continue on down the line. So you do them in a row, right? You take the test light, you put it on one side of the fuse, you put it on the next side of the fuse. You see what happened here? None of these fuse lights. So in this case, it means that this fuse you have to turn on something for this fuse to work. Alright? You go to the other fuse, same thing. You can hear the relay. So this what happened is the ground is sending the signal to the relay. So when you have no power on a fuse, it means the fuse is good. Alright? It means it's not born, okay? See, no power. You have power on one side, you have to have power on the other side. Alright? No power. No power. You have power, you have to have power on the other end of the fuse. Alright? So when you don't have a power, you shouldn't have on either side. Alright? So we're gonna go through all the fuse. You see power here, you have power on the other side. Power here, power on the other side. Is basically you have no power on both pins or you have no power. Alright? So that means you know it's good. Alright? See, you have power there. Power, 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 power. Okay? So now we check the fuse. Some have no power on both pins and some have power on both pins. So that means that the fuse is good. So now what we're going to be checking for, we're going to check for a fuse that is born. So what I did, I cut this fuse here just to demonstrate what you check for when a fuse is born, okay? So I'm going to take out a good fuse, right? I'm going to put in the bad fuse, which I broke it on purpose for this demonstration. Okay, so now we're gonna see which fuse that the fuse is born. Okay, see no power there? You have power on this pin here. Alright, you see you have power there? But on the other pin, you have no power. Alright, so now you know that this fuse is born because you only have power on one pin. So that's how you know the fuse that is born. So the fuse that is born has only one power, and the fuse that is good has no power or has power on both pins. Alright, so now you have some different fuse, which is 40 amp, 30 amp, you can have 20 amp, 60 amp, 80 amp, 100 amp, 120, depends on their fuse. But these fuses are close in, and these one can be very tricky at times to check them. If you look at them visually, you might know they might look good, but sometimes they're born, alright? And you can make a lot of mistakes with these ones. So you have two choices in checking this fuse. Alright, let's say for example I want to check this fuse. You can take it out. I can take a cap out of it. Alright? You can take the cap out of it, and then you can take a test light, see, and test it. Alright, like that. And then you put back your cap back. Just clip it back on like that. Alright. So in the next way you take it out. Or the next way you can check it with a multimeter, you check for continuity. So you put on your meter. Alright. So you put it on the arm, so you put it for the beep. It's gonna beep. See that? So if you don't have a Tesla and you want to check this fuse, you can put it there. So what happens when you put it to the one side and then the pin, and you put it to the other side of the pin, it's supposed to beep. Then you know that there is no break in the line. It's everything is intact, right? See it's beep. Now if this fuse was broke, you cannot hear the beep. There was going to be no sound. Then you know there's a problem with the fuse. So you know that that fuse is no good. So sometimes in this fuse, it's better like you take the cap off and you check it individually, because sometimes it's kind of broke but you don't see it, and that could cause you a lot of problems, because this fuse, they run a lot of main stuff on the car. So that's how you use it. You just need a meter with that give you the beep and the amps reading. Alright. So let's say for example you boost your car, which a lot of people does, and you put the next car that you have, you boost it, you put it positive, negative. You put it on the wrong. Instead of put it on positive, you put it on negative. Put it on the negative, put it on the positive. You switch the wire. Now you go in the car to start it. What's gonna happen? If your car don't catch a fire, you're gonna burn the main fuse. So this is an Acura TL 2005. So this is the main fuse here. So this fuse is gonna protect your vehicle. So this fuse is gonna burn. And eventually you're gonna have no power in the dash, no power anyway, right? Because this is the battery, it's coming from the battery, and it's the main supply to the fuse box and to your ignition system, to your whole car. So when this fuse burns, you have no power to your car. So you will have to open here with a screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, pull up this fuse, and you will have to get the same fuse to put back in there. Alright? So that is the trick of how to save you a lot of problem, a lot of towing, and this is good for if your car don't start. For example, you go in your car and you have no power, or you have your car crank and it don't start. So before you call a tow truck, you can get out your tester and check your fuse, because sometimes a fuse can burn, and it can be a main fuse that supply your computer, supply of your gas pump, supply so many things that is born, and you fix the fuse. And I see a lot of cars coming to God because the fuse born, and you just change the fuse and your car start right away. Alright, so it can just be a car don't start because of the fuse. And you have interior fuse box. Sometimes you can have two fuse box interior. That's where you have to check your manual to know yours. Each car is different, and it's a good idea to know where your fuse located in your car. So that way you can check your fuse, and you can save yourself a lot of headache. Alright, so thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more interesting video, and goodbye.